Welcome to Beyond The Chord with me, Cara.
And me, Malba.
Join us each week where we will talk about the ups and downs of being songwriters over the age of 40 and what it's really like juggling motherhood, menopause and keeping that creative spark alive. As if that wasn't enough, each week we will write a new song together and perform it live on the podcast. So get comfy, grab a cuppa and let's dive in. Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Hiya.
Hiya. Oh.
Well, can I just say before we even ask about how our week's been, I'm quite impressed with myself that I've got to week 3 without crying.
I'm impressed too, I'll be perfectly honest with you.
Although, to be fair, let's just point out that I was crying before we started.
I thought we weren't going to tell them that.
No. Come on. We've got to be transparent and authentic.
Do we? Do we? Do you think there's a bit too much of that these days?
Too much authenticity.
Like, come on, people, start pretending, please.
Okay. So, how's your week been?
Fine. I'm trying to think. Nothing. It's been very uneventful, which is actually quite welcome. I'll be honest. Had a very wholesome family weekend. Didn't do anything. You know, just stayed at home. I mean, I have my midnight visitor. Oh, who puked up at 1 a.m. Completely, like, don't know why.
Oh,
no idea. No. But it was a wee shame. A wee shame.
That is a wee shame.
You know that way, and any mum will know what I'm about to say here. You're lying in bed, you've fallen asleep, and then you hear the slightest sound, a squeak, a movement, and your eyes are wide open. You're like, I think she's been sick. Yep, she's been sick. And is the husband awake? No, of course not.
Mammy radar. So, yeah, she puked up. It was a full, had to put her in the bath affair. Oh,
it was a shame. She was not, she was just like a wee soul sitting in the bath like, help me. But it meant I got nice cuddles. So
that's
upside of the spew fest was really nice, sleepy cuddles. Like no fannying about cuddles. So so had to do that.
Tech.
And you know, like, she was fine the next morning. There was no like just repercussions. Random? It was just one of those random middle of the night. Right, tonight I'm going to spew my guts up.
Tonight, Matthew.
Yes. Exactly. Tonight, Matthew, I am going to be spew fest. So that's like the only eventful thing. I mean, other things have happened, but they are not podcastable because I could be fired. So,
and you don't want that.
I can't have that. I can't have that.
Not until we can, like...
Until we're millionaires.
Yeah, and just sit about and do podcasts every day and write songs.
Gonna do that anyway.
That's coming. It's
happening. It's here.
It is. So
how's your week been?
I'm trying to think. Usually I've got to look at my diary to remind myself because... Yeah. What have I done this week?
Have you been anywhere?
No, I did. I went over to a friend's on Sunday who had arranged angel card readings.
Hang on, like, this sort of stuff makes me want to, like, spew, actually. No, I'm a total... I'm gonna be. No, I'm a total eye roller when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, it's not... I don't get it, so...
I know, and that's fair enough. I just am a great believer in being open to whatever happens. And sometimes you don't know the reason. But it was nice to have something in the diary because it reminded me that I'm a normal human. You know, like, you know, when you go out and you see people and you go, oh, people actually go out. You know,
they do.
People go out. This is a real thing. because and I think that's part of having children as well, is that unless you actually dedicate time to go out together,
you wouldn't leave the house.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And so it was a lovely afternoon, beautiful food, beautiful home. Carol provided just such an amazing space. And it was interesting. I think for me, though, anyway, what came out of it was a really amazing book.
Oh. Book recommendations are always welcome.
Oh yes, we could do a wee book.
I mean, I don't read. I can read. I can read.
I can't have to tell you, I can't read.
I don't have time to read. I prefer to sleep than read at the minute.
Yeah. Well, it's an amazing book called, let me get this right, The Untethered Soul, by somebody. I can't remember who it is.
Oh, somebody. MD.
Wee MD. Yeah, I can't remember the author's name, but very mind-blowingly, I think could make a real difference in helping me, which, makes me think, well, actually, a lot of why I was to catch up with everybody that day was just to get that book recommendation again, because we have talked about it in the past and it's just obviously floated by my consciousness until I was like, oh, okay, I'm a great one for signs.
Yeah.
As you well know, it's a sign. It's a sign. So I think for me that's been, I'm about halfway through it and I'm trying to process what that would mean. I think I can't really, genuinely can't even remember what I've done this week.
I do remember one other thing that happened this week.
All right, what else happened?
So, my youngest kid's in nursery. She's nearly 3. Mm-hmm. And last week, when we left nursery for the weekend, I was informed that we were also housing a guest over the weekend. Oh. The nursery teddy bear.
Oh, I thought you were going to say nets.
Well, I mean...
That'll come.
And so I was like, oh,
much nicer guest.
So we had wee teddy bear staying with us all weekend. But the thing is, we're in November. Mm-hmm. That's the 11th month of the year. I have not heard about Teddy until this moment. So I was thinking, I was like, has she just not been good enough to have the bear? Like, no. I think the bear's done the rounds.
No, it goes round.
No, but there's not that many kids.
Oh, really?
I think the bear's done quite a few rounds, and they were like, who's not had... Oh, we should maybe... just to even things out.
Maybe she should get it for a wee bit longer then.
She did. She had it for 4 days. I think it was a pity.
Pity Teddy.
Pity Teddy. So we had Teddy all weekend.
Wasn't.
But, I mean, she wasn't for it. She did not enjoy not being the baby of the family. Oh. This bear was stuffed in cupboards.
This bear was stuffed.
Down the back of the couch. It was...
That's really interesting.
She would have left it out on the moss, like when we went for a walk. She would have left it up a tree if she could have gotten away with it. She was like, I mean, sibling rivalry to the next level with a bear.
Oh my goodness.
So, but I, like, obviously, I was responsible for this bear also, and every time it went missing, I had a total paddy. I was like, I'm going to have to go back to the nursery and tell them we lost the bear.
That's quite stressful.
It was very stressful.
It's like looking after someone's pet.
Exactly.
Or babysitting or something. Well, obviously that's a bit more responsible, but
I would hope they're alive.
The same thing. The same kind of thing.
So yeah, that was pretty stressful. I forgot about that. I clearly blocked that from my mind because it was
blocking
too much.
Blocking it can be really useful.
Yeah. Well, are we ready for our weekly menopause unverified fact?
Yes, I did feel that I am lagging behind on the menopause facts, so I'm going to commit to doing the menopause fact unverified next week.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Well, just, hold your horses.
It's a minefield of information out there on menopause unverified facts. There's quite a few.
Right, what is it this week?
Okay,
then?
this week. So, did you know
No, I didn't.
in 1710, so we're
What?
going back a bit,
Right,
right?
last week.
Last week. In 1710, the menopause was considered a disease.
What?
Yeah, like an actual medical disease. But not just that. It's not enough just to be a disease. It was, and I quote, in fact, the worst of the calamities of the time.
Well, I maybe would agree with that so far.
So it got me thinking,
Right?
does that make us the Calamity Janes?
Oh my god.
Band name.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, right?
Because, do you know what?
What?
That's my favourite movie of all time.
No!
Yes.
It's a sign.
It's a sign. And you said it, not me.
I knew
I'm
you'd
turning you. I'm
get
turning
it.
you.
Oh, no! Hang on, let me roll my eyes again. Yeah,
Oh,
there we
that
go.
is- oh my god, you've just revealed our band name live
To the
on
world.
the podcast.
To you.
To
Also.
me.
By the
What if I
way,
turned around and went, I hate that movie. I don't hate anything, but that is my favourite. Like my early days of, not choir days, but like opening up to the possibility of being something other than a choir singer. And there's not anything wrong with that, obviously. My karaoke tune was Que Sera Sera.
is Whip Crack Away from that film?
Yes.
Yeah. Whip Crack Away, Whip Crack Away, Whip Crack Away.
Just always. And here's another fun fact. I wanted my wedding dress
No.
to be the pink dress that she reveals at the ball. I tell you.
Was
If I-
it?
Yeah.
No, was your wedding dress?
No.
Oh.
What are you talking about? Were you not singing at my wedding?
I don't know, was I?
I don't know, were you?
I don't know. You tell me.
I
Did you have the choir?
Yeah.
Then I probably was.
Yeah. Did you not see my big pink dress?
Oh, that was you? We were all talking about it. Joking.
Check her. In her Calamity Jane dress.
Wonder if she's in a band called the Calamity Janes.
I love that name.
It's a great name.
Oh, it's a great name.
Just came to me.
Doris Day would love that.
Wouldn't she?
Is Doris Day still alive?
I'm gonna say. I don't know.
Well,
I
that's
want to.
terrible.
I want to
Maybe
say.
we should edit that. So, yeah, we're huge fans and we're not. But
If-
she must
if
be like
she isn't-
100.
Yeah,
must be
she
about
must
100.
be a good age.
Maybe we should Google it.
We'll check back on that for next week.
Verified fact.
Yes, at the
can
moment
re-
it's very unverified.
We can confirm.
We can confirm we
No,
do not
because
know.
I am sure my brain would have remembered that if
I want to
Doris
say
Day
that
had passed
she's
away.
not with us any
Really?
longer. I
Right,
mean,
well, 50-50. When is this going to be right? I think she's still alive.
right, I think she's gone to the other side.
She's got her wings.
She's flying.
Well, then I'm sure she'll be looking down on us going, that's a great idea.
I think so. She'll just say, whip crack away, girls.
I
On you
can't
go.
believe you've pulled that out the bag. I love it. Oh my god. I might need a moment just to process that, which is not good. No, it's not good telly, because we're not on telly, but it's not good podcast. And can I just say,
What? Yes, you can.
this is going to sound terrible, but I don't listen to podcasts.
And you're hosting
And
one?
I'm hosting one, but the first podcast I have ever listened to was our podcast.
Now that can make you come across as either
I only listen to my own podcast, darling.
It's the best, obviously.
No, I just mean, I don't know, and I find it quite perplexing that as a musician and a songwriter and a singer and someone who relies on listening so
I mean,
much.
There's a whole world available to you now. Like, podcasts are great. I listen to
I know,
loads.
I'm sure they are, but I find listening, maybe it's...
That was unfortunate timing. I just took a gulp of tea.
Did you?
It almost came down my nose.
Maybe it's... Well, I mean, like, yes, we've had conversations before about my my listening skills, and maybe I just need to develop them a wee bit more and listen to some more podcasts.
Yeah.
Anyway,
right. So
we've got our band name.
we've got our band name, and we're going to move into our next section, question of the week.
Oh dear Lord!
I've got a bit of a preamble to the question of the week.
All right, okay. Do I need to get the tissues out? No.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm gonna feel this one out.
Let's
right.
see.
So this week, I watched a TEDx talk. I highly recommend this, by the way. It was from a woman called Brené Brown. Do you know who she is?
Oh, love.
She's great. Is that how you say her name?
Brené.
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 And it was The Power of Vulnerability. Have you seen it?
I about have, yes.
Right. Wow.
I watch it quite regularly to remind myself.
All right. Well, then you're gonna know what I'm gonna talk about.
No,
then. well,
not maybe not. I don't know what you're going to say next.
Wait, were you listening? So it was 20 minutes or so. So it's quite, easy to watch if you don't have much time. But I found it really quite insightful and powerful. And again, I'm like her. I roll at all these sorts of things. Like, vulnerability is hard for me, which is ironic, considering I write about feelings in my songs.
And that's how you express your vulnerability, I think.
Yeah. And the one thing that kind of stood out to me was this obsession that we all have with perfecting our lives. Do you remember that part? Where she talks about, like, we look at when we have a baby and we look at that wee baby and we think you're perfect. And then we feel like we have to just keep up that level of perfectionism for their whole lives. And the same applies to us. Like, if we do anything short of perfect, then we consider ourselves a failure. Or,
oh, absolutely.
And we put all this pressure on ourselves because we're not reaching that unattainable mark. And then she kind of flipped that on its head and was like, well, actually, humans are wired for struggle. And if you think about childbirth, holy hell, that's like a life or death situation if you really think about it.
Not if you've got millions of drugs in you.
Well,
I did.
That just makes it more pleasant, let's be honest. But really,
I totally get what you mean.
The baby's fighting to get out. You're like willing it to get out at that point. You're like, please get out of me. But it's not an easy thing at all for both child and mother. So that really stuck with me, that whole, like, you're wired for struggle, but all you need is to be worthy, is to accept love and belong. Is that how it went? You're worthy of love and belonging. Yeah. That was the message that she was saying. And if you can really accept that, then you'll be open to more things, like you were saying earlier on. Like, you start to open up to all of these things and you can enjoy the whole spectrum of emotions rather than numbing them all, because you can't selectively just do the good ones. You have to experience the difficult ones.
Well, yeah, because that perfectly describes what the untethered soul talks about, and how that is exhausting, carrying all that expectation of whether it's perfection or thinking that you're not good enough or you don't deserve love, and that's, for me, it's quite interesting, because I would say that I embrace and show my vulnerability probably too easily, because that, I suppose, being vulnerable in front of other people doesn't scare me. But what I find interesting is that almost that can be really overwhelming at times, because it is tiring carrying the heaviness of trauma and grief and all of that stuff, carrying it around with you.
Yeah.
I love Brené Brown. I always wanted to be like a songwriting Brené Brown.
Well, maybe you could be. There's nothing
But
to
like
stop
not
you.
in a because she's I mean, I think she's hilarious as
She
well.
is very funny. That's the thing I was surprised at, because obviously you read that title, The Power of Vulnerability. You don't expect that to be funny.
No.
You expect that to be very... I mean, it was deep and it was very insightful, of course it was, but her delivery of it, I really kind of locked into that, because I saw myself in her in many, many ways. Like, because she's just not... What's the word? She's not... She is emotional, but she doesn't tie herself to that.
Yeah.
Because she detaches from it quite a bit, and I do that too.
I
so.
weed in up to my neck in that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the question, and this is related to, I guess, songwriting. Would you consider yourself a perfectionist?
Oh my God, yes.
Would you?
To the point where I then just... I remember saying, I'm sure it was about Aidan. He, my... I was going to say my eldest son. He's my only son. When he was younger, if he couldn't be brilliant at something, he just wasn't interested.
Right.
And I think you might have got that from me a wee bit, because I will just... It's almost like I'm a rabbit in headlights. If it's not going to be as good as I have already put the expectation on, then I just don't do it.
So do you feel like then your perfectionism holds you back?
1,000,000 bajillion %. Every day.
Right.
Every day. I think it's definitely a huge factor in why I don't practice.
Okay.
And why I then feel like that my skills as a guitar player or as a pianist or as a vocalist doesn't progress, because it's almost like... And I don't think it's that I'm terrified that I'm going to be rubbish, but I think I might be a bit terrified that if I really did put the work in, I might be quite good at it.
That's equally as scary as thinking the opposite.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it really, really is.
And I think that goes across the board, whether you're a songwriter, whether you're an artist, whether you're, a painter or a writer. I don't think that goes away. But it is crippling.
Yeah.
Well, it is for me. I don't know about you. What do you think?
No, I don't think I am a perfectionist. I think I've gone the other way, where I kind of almost look for the imperfections, because to me I honestly think that's where the beauty is. When the mistakes happen, you're like, oh, wait a minute, what's that?
Yeah.
And I kind of lean into that. And I had a whole thing, like when I was doing the album, I don't know if this is perfectionism, but I just had a certain kind of idea that it had to be a certain way. And I would just lean into my limitations, let's say, and just be like, right, these are my limitations. I can't go any further than that. That's the boundary. So this is the parameters that I'm working in. Like I'm in a box, and just explore the box.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I saw that. So, but then I did the album, and then I came out the other side going, I'm really proud of that. I'm really happy with that. But where do I go from here?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there was like, I set myself those parameters,
So
but
do
now I
you?
need to push through them and find out what's out there. And this is part of that, because I'd never considered, oh, let's go and do a podcast. But
Until you
then-
met me.
Until I met you. I've known you for ages. But until we'd had that like kind of random discussion and went, let's just do a podcast
I
and see
know.
what happens.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
here we are.
But I think that's the thing, you know. It almost seems a lot of the time, especially with a lot of the people that I work with, you know, it's about what they can do
Mm-hmm.
rather than what they can't do.
Yeah.
And hilariously, I don't allow myself that same consideration,
Uh-huh.
you know.
So what would you say then to someone who was sitting there listening going, I'm a perfectionist in everything I do, but it's holding me back? What kind of advice would you give them?
Oh my God.
And this is like talking to yourself, really. What would
Well,
you say to
I
yourself?
am completely talking to myself here, and I do that quite a lot. I think I think it has to come back to finding the joy. I think for me, the concept of practicing just takes me back to
Like
formal music education, and that's not a happy place for me. So I think, well, the advice I would give to myself and what I explored in when I did my master's, and my album was written around using therapeutic songwriting to help my own mental health. And I came up with a methodology, a wee kind of really simple. I'm trying to figure out how I could describe it, but it was just more like simple steps that you could do every day. And if I could listen to my own voice, I would be doing really well. But it was like, you know, do a wee bit of writing every day, play every day, whatever that means, share it with someone, and then start again the next day. And I think it's that, you know, we don't get to where we are carrying all the baggage or trauma or whatever it is with us, you know, in a day. So it's almost like you have to unpick it a day at a time until it becomes your muscle memory, you know, and you have to say to yourself, you know, I can make mistakes, you know. And I think I'm just so hard on myself. It just, it makes it really difficult. So, you know, be a bit kinder to yourself, I think, would be my first, you know, the most important piece of, I don't like the word advice, but what I am trying to do, no, I'm not trying, because I'll either do it or I won't, says Yoda, is keep reminding myself that it's okay to, you know, not, you know. Another good friend, Melissa, who I'm sure we've mentioned before, you know, she said, don't compare your chapter 5 to my chapter 50, because you can't.
No, they're totally
you know,
different.
there's always going to be people who are better songwriters,
Yeah.
better musicians, better vocalists in front of you. There's always going to be other people who maybe aren't as practiced as well. I think it's just about finding your own way through that.
Yeah, definitely. I would add to
What
that
would your
and say,
advice be?
I'd say lean into like the mistakes 100%. Find out what they're about, because you'll be amazed. Like when you're practicing whatever and you just can't get a bit right, just keep going, see what's there, try something else, like explore around those notes, or if it's songwriting or if whatever medium it is, explore around it and see what's there, because it could take you on a completely different path, and then that becomes where your interests lie, and not to be afraid of those mistakes.
Yeah.
Not to let them kind of affect, like, hold you back, I suppose.
Yeah, and you wonder where that all comes from. You know, that kind of...
Well, I think there's people much more qualified than you and I to delve into that.
Let them solve it.
We're just here for the entertainment
We're
value.
just here for the banter. For the banter. We're here for the banter. That's a great question. Have we missed anything out?
I don't think so. I think that's kind of...
We've done our piece of advice.
You know,
we've done our menopause moment.
You're just going through the agenda. Menopause moment?
No.
It's definitely not a moment. It's a long moment in time. We need to talk about our song of the week.
Song of the week.
Song of the week. Song of the week.
Sounded like the Addams Family there. Song of the week.
So what's our theme?
What's our theme this week?
Oh. Well, let's see. The Calamity Janes have a disease.
That's a great first line of it. So yeah, I'm still a bit blown away by that.
Exploring the power of vulnerability.
Disease and vulnerability.
That could work.
Oh, what was that? Oh no, I was going to say, what was that terrible? Oh, I'll remember it probably in the middle of the night. But there was a pop song that had a really bad...
There are many.
No, but it was a really bad how they said a word so that it would rhyme. Oh, I don't know who it is. I'm not going to name names.
Starbucks lovers?
I can't remember who it was. I'm going to say it maybe a Katy Perry song. Unconditionally or something. Something like that.
All right. I know that one.
I'll go and Google it and I'll update you next week.
Yeah, bring
I
it
forget.
back to the pod.
Yeah, unless I forget, and it's really not that important.
That is
the
a
grand
possibility. Yeah, with this disease.
It's about shoehorning rhyming. So let's not do that.
So the song of the week is dun dun dun.
This week's song, oofed. You better get your hankies. Oh, I better get my hankies ready. This week's song's called Patchwork Perfect.
As I lay here on the floor, cold stone against my skin, I'm tired, I'm torn, I'm sore. The light in me is dim. Slowly I feel a jolt, electricity in waves of volts. The warmth emits and it melts my soul. Peel back the layers and let them go. Oh, a flame inside is flickering. There's life inside the old dog, yeah. Stardust golden glittering, a dash of hope in your old set. These cloths I sew together, weave the tales I won't forget. 'Cause I am patchwork perfect. I am patchwork perfect. In the quiet of the dark, whispers begin to flow. Voices call, scared and flawed, reaching out for hope. Oh, the fire inside is raging, the flames are burning bright and high. Stories told in safety, dispel the pain we leave behind. These cloths I sew together, weave the tales I won't
That's it for this week's episode of Beyond the Chord. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did making it. And join us next week for more chat and tunes. And in the meantime, if you want to send us your thoughts, you can follow us on Instagram at Beyond the Chord. We would love to hear from you. Until next time.